Hello, everyone. Welcome to another great webinar from CPAacademy.org. My name is Jasmine. It's my pleasure to host today's course, Scaling Your Virtual Accounting Firm. Grow your brand with digital tools. I've got your presenters from Accounting Suite. You've got Faye and Emily here on the line. They'll be bringing this topic to you today, and I'll turn it over to them in just a moment. But before we get started, I would like to make sure that everything is working for our audience. So if you haven't already, please head over to the questions box and type me a quick message there to let me know that you can hear my voice, see the title slide, and you should be seeing my webcam for the time being as well. Please also feel free to let me know where in the world you're tuning in from today. I'm seeing folks lighting up from all over. Hello, North Carolina. Hello, Texas. I'm seeing California, South Dakota, New Jersey, Nevada, San Diego. Thank you all for tuning in, and thanks so much for confirming. Now, if at any point things are not working so well, please drop me a note right there and I'll get around to you as quickly as I can and get you back on track with the presentation. Also, as you come up with questions or comments about these amazing tools that our team is going to be sharing with you today, don't hesitate to leave those right there in that very same questions panel, and our team will do their best to reach out to you if they need follow-up after the webinar, but I know Faye and Emily are going to try to tackle those questions in real time. So now, as far as credit is concerned, this is a 1-hour credit CPE webinar, rather. And to earn that credit, we'll need you to do two things. Please stay logged in with us for at least 50 minutes, that's 50 minutes, and respond to our polling questions. We're going to announce and launch 4 polls today. And for the best experience, I encourage you to answer as many polls as you can and as quickly as possible. Now, we are recording today's session. If you'd like to refer to that in the future, that archive is going to be uploaded to your CPAacademy.org account just a little bit later today, usually around the same time that we issue that CPE credit. For now, though, go ahead and grab a copy of your presentation materials, which you can download right now from the Control Panel's Handouts tab. And I think we're all set, so I'll go ahead and turn things over now. Faye, our attendees are ready, and the floor is all yours.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Like Jasmine said, welcome to Scaling Your Virtual Accounting Firm, here with the crew from Accounting Suite. Let's see, I saw a lot of chats coming in here. Howdy to David from Nevada. Stacy, San Diego, nice to see you here. Got plenty of folks. We've got about 100 people here today, so we've got a big crew to chat with. Brandon from LA. Janelle from Atlanta, all over. All right, well, good morning or good afternoon. I know we got East Coast, we got West Coast, right in the middle. I am based in Denver, so I'm kind of one of those right in the middle people. And then Em, she is our territory lead for East Coast, so I'll have her say hi in just a moment. But we're glad to have you here today. This course is really exciting for us. I'll get into this in just a moment, but we really are always looking for ways we can support our accounting professionals. We are just really passionate about just helping you boost your firm, boost your business, build your clientele, things like that. And so with that, we always strive to offer opportunities first so you can earn CPE, but also so you can really just feel empowered and your whole team can feel empowered to really just go out there and win clients. So like Jasmine said, this course is about an hour today. We've got a lot to cover. So what I would recommend doing is downloading that slide deck for this course today. So even if we don't get to every slide, which we likely won't, they're still in the deck to be a resource for you. So everything in there is just chock full of stats that might be useful, tips, tricks. We're going to get into some nitty gritty with a lot of different tools and apps that you can use as you scale your virtual accounting firm. So even if we don't get a chance to show you everything live, you can still take a look at some ideas and then go check out those things for yourself. Here's a little bit about our agenda today. I'm going to walk us through our intro And then I'm going to pass it over to Emily. She is my co-presenter today, who I will also introduce in just a moment. She'll walk us through some Facebook group things, just using Facebook to, boost your visibility, connect within the industry, things like that. And then she'll show a demo with some graphic design stuff, which, something I always say, it's like if you're an accounting professional, you probably don't want to be a professional graphic design person as well, or a professional digital marketer. So she'll show you some cool ways that anybody can really use things like Canva, or you can use Adobe to make graphics for your brands or for your firm. So you don't have to have a 4-year degree in graphic design to have something really nice to represent your business. So we're excited about that. I'll wrap us up today talking about ChatGPT just a little bit. We actually have a ChatGPT training this time next week. So that's called Promptopia. I can plug that in the chat here in a bit, but if you're looking at finding another course from us on CPA Academy, I recommend Promptopia. That will be led by Ted. He is our prompt engineer, he calls himself, and so he loves ChatGPT. So if you want to learn how to use ChatGPT to generate content, or to just make your workflow more efficient day in and day out, that'd be a good one. Just a quick plug there. And then I'll wrap up just talking about just some website creation tips if you don't already have a website. And then just kind of wrapping up, practical application. The biggest thing we've taught this course, or various models of this course, several times over the past year. And, the biggest thing we always hear is, I don't have time. And I understand that, you have a lot going on. And like I said, your profession is probably not a marketer. And so, we want to offer you options, just bite-sized ways you can start chipping away at building your brands and creating content for your brands without making you feel overwhelmed or like you have to now be a part-time digital marketer. And we'll wrap up with some Q&A. So we have folks who always like to stay on and chat. So if you have a specific industry scenario or want some advice, we're totally happy to either demo something again or just talk through what that scenario might look like. So always happy for that. And of course, you're welcome to drop any questions or comments in the chat as we go along. Let's see, James from Seattle, welcome. Christine from Maryland, welcome. Awesome, let's dive right in. All right, so my name is Faye. I am our training and content manager here at Accounting Suite. I was brought on about a year and a half ago, really to just build out and enhance our training side of things. So, first and foremost, that looks like having an effective training setup, learning path set up for learning our software. But also, my big thing is going above and beyond and being able to offer things like this to you all. Really, I'm just passionate about giving accounting professionals resources, so you can build your brands, grow your clientele, enhance your firm, things like that. So that's why we offer these kind of courses. Like I said, when you win, we win. So we're all about that. I'm going to pass this over to Em just to say hi real quick.
Hello, everyone. So my name's Emily. I'll be talking in just a minute, but I am a senior partner here at Accounting Suite, and I'm located in the Florida Panhandle, but my background is not only like the sales and some marketing, but also I'm a business owner. I have got a couple different businesses, and so what I'll be chatting about today is how to market your company, market your business, grow it through things like Facebook groups and things like that. So really excited to share that with y'all.
Amazing, thanks, Em. All right, so just a quick plug here, not going to be too death by PowerPoint. I know we got a lot of material to cover. If you haven't heard of us, we are Accounting Suite. We pride ourselves in being sort of a mid-level solution. We are a totally customizable cloud-based accounting software. So we're right in that sweet spot. We are designed, if you have a client or if you're outgrowing an entry-level product, but maybe you don't want to shell out thousands of dollars every month for a full ERP solution, or maybe you don't need a full ERP solution, we're right in that sweet spot, and we're designed to scale with you, scale with your clients, and just being fully customizable. You know, we are designed to adapt to your business needs and your workflow, not the other way around. And I already plugged the Academy, but this is where you can go if you ever want to learn about more courses from us. We have lots of different things, lots of live training every month. So, you know, if you do join the partner track and you choose to go through the Academy to get certified, you can earn up to, I think it's 17 CPE credits from us, and that's all free to you as a partner. So let's keep that in mind if you're looking for more CPE. Here's a couple different offerings. I won't plug these super long, but this is that first step if you're an accounting partner. It's that core certification track. So we offer this training live twice a month, and that's going to be a 3-hour training. So 3 CPE credits. That's the first step to getting certified in our software. We give you a nice badge and everything if you want to add that to your website, your credentials, things like that. And this is our, I just actually got off training this one today. This is our Thursday regular webinar just for onboarding new accounts, setting up new accounts and clients. It's our webinar style 1 hour Thursday 9 a.m. Pacific webinar, and that's 1 CPE credit. All right, now let's get to the fun stuff. We'll start with our first poll, pass it over to Jasmine.
All right, so we've got our first poll live on everybody's screen right now. I see some of our attendees already getting their votes in quickly. This is the first of 4 polls, and if anyone happens to not be able to see that poll or having some trouble getting it to respond, the best way to fix those types of issues is to refresh your browser. This is an easy one. Let us know what you want to gain from this course. You have 4 options to choose from, and to respond to these polls, you'll click the radio button that corresponds with your answer, and be sure to click submit to register your response for CPE. See a lot of folks voting in other, and if your answer is other, go ahead and let us know in the questions panel, especially if you have anything that you'd like to make sure that Faye and Emily cover today. All right, just a few more seconds on poll number 1. I'll close this one down in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We've got about 35% of our audience saying they'd like to learn how to build their brand. Back to you.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, we have plenty of other courses too that really dive into that niche of things. You know, if you're looking to build your brands, like 35% of you are looking to do, we have lots of other courses as well. So I'll get into that a little bit towards the end, just some tools for actually refining your brands and your brand identity and things like that. But there's a lot of things in this course today that I think will really benefit, just like helping you build your brands and feel more confident representing your firm to the world. All right, Em, the floor is yours.
All right, awesome. So if you can go ahead and pass presenter over to me, I can screen share.
Yep, I should have done that anyway. Let's see. Give me one moment. Oh, looks like Em's good to go. And I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay, awesome. You can see my screen, right? Tools and tips.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. All right, everybody. So in the chat right now, I know we're going to ask a similar question as a polling question in a little bit, but I'm curious before I go into this. At this point, if you had to rate your marketing situation on a scale of like 1 to 10, 1 being nothing going on, getting clients as they come to you, or 10 being you've got a marketing team or you're self-marketing like crazy and all of your clients are kind of coming from those ventures, what would your number be, out of curiosity? All right, so I will keep an eye on that. What we're going to cover today is going to be a few different tools that you can use to really just like simplify your workflow and market your business, get more clients, you know, get the type of clients that you want to get, and so forth. So we're going to talk about a few different tools here. The first is going to be, how do you consolidate links? So while a website is great to have, and I believe Faye is going to talk a bit about that, if you have no website at this point, doing something like a link tree, or what I like is Easy Bio Link, because you can make links and landing pages. You can make this in like 10 minutes. And it's kind of, you know, something that's going to hold the place of a website. You can have people schedule Zoom meetings with you on your calendar, so you can have like discovery meetings. You can have an about you, a video, testimonials, all kinds of cool stuff on those links. So that would be a really easy way of making a website DIY super quick. We'll talk about Calendly. So if you are currently not meeting with anybody online right now, it's all in your office, Calendly and Zoom will definitely change your life. So you know, at this point, we've kind of just got to embrace the way the world's going technology wise, and definitely moving to the computer for sure. So we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about Canva, which is going to be a I think they have a free version and they have like a $12 a month version or something. Very cost efficient way of marketing your business. And then the next kind of concept that we're going to talk about is going to be Facebook groups. And I have personally found a lot of success building Facebook groups. I own a couple of them that have like several thousand members for various things. And then I also have marketed in Facebook groups. So we're going to talk about kind of what we're looking for when we go into these Facebook groups. And I'm just going to screen share and pretty much walk y'all through all of this. So let's go straight into that. So we're going to go first thing, there we go, into Facebook. So I made this profile. This is not my real Facebook, but what I want to talk about are some ways that we can basically get more clients through Facebook groups. So what I would recommend first off is picking a niche, right? So this could be some clients that you are very passionate about. Maybe you have something in common. Maybe you are also a short-term rental owner. Maybe you have an Airbnb. So you want to go and you want to market to short-term rental investors. That's the one that I'm going to talk about today. Maybe you, I don't know, are very passionate about teachers or something, or kids or whatever. So you're going to market to like schools, or I don't know. But anyway, you're going to pick your niche, and you can also kind of go and try a couple different options out and see which one bites. So that's that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to find Facebook groups that are going to have the right amount of people in them, the right amount of posts, and we can talk about what to find. So we're going to use the example of short-term rental investors. So I'm just going to search that, and then on my left side here, I can click groups. This is going to show me all the groups on the internet that have short-term rental investors. Now, depending on where you're located, you might see slightly different groups. I'm in Florida, so that's going to kind of pop up first for me. But you can go, and I would recommend joining as many groups as possible. And when we look at groups that are going to be really good groups, we're going to look at two things. First, how many members? And then second, how many posts per week? So we can see like this group right here has 6,000 members, which is great. And it has 10 plus posts a day. So this is an awesome group. It's very active. It has not too many members, because when we start to get into like, I would say typically above 20,000, I know this group is actually still really good, but I would say definitely above 50,000, you're starting to get a weird group. Like this one, for example, has 339,000 members, 10 posts a day. But when you go into a group like this, you're going to end up just seeing a ton of spam and bots, and it's not going to be a super valuable group. So we want to find real groups with a normal amount of members. So again, look for, you know, roughly less than 50,000, I would say. If you can get less than 20,000, that's great too. So here's a couple of different groups. Here's one that says short and mid-term rental investors. Here's another one. I'm going to click on this short-term rental investor group right here. So now I can go to About right over here on the right, and I'm going to click Learn More. So here I can see who the admins of this group are. So myself, this is my group, and then I've got somebody else as an admin. So I can go now and say that I am an accountant and I want to market my services to this group. So you can take a couple different approaches. The approach that I personally love is basically creating a free webinar that's going to offer value to the group members. And then at the end, you're able to collect, emails, phone numbers, information, and then you can kind of market your services. You can ask polling questions to see if they are interested in your services. But kind of like a basic value added type of webinar is going to usually go over well because you're not just asking them to sell something, you're giving them something. So what I would recommend doing is finding the admins and messaging them and saying, hey, would you like to meet for a 15-minute Zoom call? I would love to do a free webinar for your group. We could co-host it. I could just, post it on your group. I would love to see how I can help, right? And then you kind of just go from there, see which of these group members are interested. Some might say, never talk to me again and block you, but some might say, sure, that sounds lovely, let's meet up. And then here you have a platform with thousands of people that you can now go and essentially market to. So that's what I like about Facebook groups. Another thing that you can do in Facebook groups is, I'm going to go into Canva now, and we're going to talk about kind of some DIY marketing and images that we can post in these groups that are going to get us more business, basically. So what I can do is I can search and I can say accountant, right? So I'm going to scroll through, and here we go. I'm going to go with this right here, and I'm going to customize this template. So what I can do is I can delete this photo. I can go to my uploads here, and I can drag and drop my own picture. And then up here where it says edit photo, I'm going to click that and remove my background. So almost all the way back to what it was with the other person. And then maybe I don't want orange, so I'm going to change this to Accounting Suite yellow, Accounting Suite yellow, and same with this one. Next, I'm going to remove this logo. I'm going to drag my logo over here. And then I can go and I can change my information. So now I've got this great professional looking social tile that I can go and I can post in these Facebook groups now, or in my own group, or whatever I decide to do. So that's that. You can also go back home and you can search for webinar. All right, so now I can go down and I can say, okay, maybe I'll use this one right here. Customize this template. I'm going to do the same thing. Go to my uploads, upload my picture right in here. There we go. And then I can put a little bit about my webinar and when it is. So now all that I need to do to create a webinar at this point is I'm going to use, something like this. And then I'm going to go over to Zoom. You can use plenty of different platforms. I like Zoom. And you can go to their webinars and lots of prices here. Here we go, build monthly. So $79 a month, you can do unlimited webinars for 100 plus interactive panelists. So you can do pretty large form webinars. Zoom does have a free platform as well. I think it's up to 40 minutes though of time. So if you're going to go over 40 minutes, you don't want to do that. But with the webinars, you can actually still collect all of the information, phone numbers, email addresses, whatever. So once you can get an admin of a group to let you start promoting your webinar group, then now you can go and you can post your link and you can start gathering information, immediately. So I think this is a great way of, gaining clients organically that are going to truly be interested in what you're offering, right? Another thing that you can do is you can create your own group. So I've done this before for a few different things, but like for this rental investor group, I am a short-term rental owner. So I would make this group and then I would go into all these other short-term rental groups, like, this, for example, and then I would spend maybe 10 to 15 minutes a morning. That's it. Just kind of commenting. And this is not the best group because it looks like a lot of admin posts, but I could go in and I could comment, hey, I'd love to have you join my group, right? And then I would just tag it like that. Hey, love to have you join my group, blah, blah, blah. Now I can spend 15 minutes and I can get, 10, 15, 20 people a day joining my group. And then suddenly I've got thousands and thousands of members. So when it comes to creating groups, I wouldn't necessarily call this like bookkeeping or accounting by so-and-so. I would call this something that anybody could join. And yes, you'd be able to promote your business in this, but it's not just going to be that. It's more to gather kind of like your niche group of people in one area, if that makes sense. So that's Facebook groups in a nutshell. I could talk for days about that, and hopefully I'll talk with some of you after this webinar too, because happy to help you one-on-one with this. Apart from the Facebook groups, the easy bio link that I was talking about is really cool. So this, we can go down and let's see here. So there's a few different options here. You could go and make something like this, looks more like a link tree, right? So we could say, schedule a meeting with me, schedule a free discovery call, listen to my podcast, blah, blah, blah. And that's one way of doing it. You can also go, let's see here. We'll look at this brand. It's not the best example. It's like video games or something, but what you could do, if you can visualize this here, is you could have a video of yourself saying, hi, I am so-and-so accountant, and here's what I do, blah, blah, blah. Here's who I work with. This is why I'm passionate about this group of people. I would love to help you. And then you could have a link to your social media. If you have social media, you could have a link to, schedule a 15-minute discovery call with me here, schedule a free discovery call with me here. Instead of these like Twitter pictures, you could have maybe some pictures of written testimonials from your clients. You can add video testimonials from your clients, which is also a really great way of, marketing. So this would be Linktree. You can set something like this up that will look really nice for you in like literally 10 minutes. So it's super quick and easy. The next thing I want to point out is Calendly. So if you are already not using something like Calendly, when you have now, these links, we can add a button that says schedule a meeting with me. And that's going to be done through Calendly. So you would go and you would create a event type here. So we can say, typically, one-on-one. I'm going to call this test for now. I can add a location, so I can hook it up to my Zoom now. I can add my description, instructions, and so forth. And then when I go next, I'm able to choose, exactly when this meeting is going to hit my calendar. I can have it look at my calendar invites, so that way it's not going to schedule while I already have something, on my calendar that's active. So you can go and you can create these Zoom invites. And once you do that, then you can go and you can share this link. And now I can send this over to people that I'm meeting on these Facebook groups, to people that are following my Linktree or my Easy Bio link, and I can kind of get them onto my calendar as best as possible. So that is that. And I would say this is, again, kind of like the elevator speech version of all of this, but definitely lots of business to be done through like this more organic marketing. And yes, you can, pay for ads and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I've personally definitely found the most success doing it this way. And one thing too to say about messaging admins, you don't need to message admins to post in these groups. I will join like 400 groups and just cross post in all of them. I think you can cross post like 3 or 4 things at a time. Like if I were to post, it'll give you usually something right here, which this group doesn't do. You can send it to like 3 or 4 different groups, but you can do that. And then the groups that you are really finding success with, people are like actually clicking and interacting. Those are the groups that I'll be PMing the admins. Another idea as well is you can offer commission to the admin. So you can say, hey, if you, I'm happy to give you a promo code, and anyone that uses the promo code, I'll give you X number finder fee, or however you want to handle it. So you can offer that. If you have a really great group too that has a ton of interaction and you want to do some Facebook Lives or something with their admin, then you can offer a sponsorship to the group. So at Accounting Suite, we sponsor a few different Facebook groups, and we'll go on and do Facebook Lives with them, like maybe monthly or quarterly or whatever. And doing a small sponsorship is also, has been very successful. So do you guys have any questions about this portion before I get off of this screen share? I'll kind of monitor the questions for just a minute. And I'm going to go ahead too and pass this back to Faye while I monitor these questions. There you go, Faye.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Em. That's a lot of good content.
Yeah, a lot of info. It's hard to find a place to start sometimes, but we're happy to help you with that.
Yes, and you can see my screen?
Yep, looks good. ChatGPT.
Great. I'll give it another moment. Let's see. Mary said this is all excellent information. Yes, I agree,
Awesome.
Mary. Very good. All right, well, don't be afraid to keep dropping those comments and questions in there. I'm going to go ahead and dive into this next portion here since we're short on time. We're about that halfway point here, so we're glad you're all here with us. All right, so ChatGPT. Like I said at the top of this training, I'm not going to get too much into ChatGPT just because we have that special Promptopia class. So if you want to learn more about that, don't be afraid to ask. They'll be available here at CPA Academy. This will be a little teaser though. So before I jump into this, tell me in the chat, if you will, what do you know about ChatGPT, or what do you think about ChatGPT? It's one of those like hot topics, and I think everyone kind of has their own opinion on it. So let me know what you think. I'll tell you one thing I initially thought was I've been to a few weddings this year, and at every single wedding, I kid you not, somebody who was in the bridal party, or groomsmen party, they read a poem or their speech was written by ChatGPT. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, I've heard lots of ChatGPT poems. But the thing is, you can use it for more than just humorous speeches for an event. Stacy said it's concerning but useful. Yep, I know that the whole AI thing is definitely a hot topic. I'm not going to get too much into that side of it, but I agree. I know there is a lot of like concern and fear. But I think if you dive into, the tools of ChatGPT, I think in the purest form, this kind of thing can be used as an asset to help enhance your workflow. I talked with our CEO about this recently, and I asked him the same thing. I was like, tell me about your thoughts with ChatGPT and all this fear mongering. And he's like, really, people were afraid of the internet when it first came out. And also, it's meant to help you, boost your brand, grow your firm. The thing is, like, ChatGPT can be used to help eliminate some of those more tedious tasks. So you can spend your time on strategy. You can spend your time talking to clients, doing webinars like this. You don't have to spend your time, doing more admin, tedious stuff. So I'm gonna get into that here. Some of these slides are just for your reference, a little more information on ChatGPT. It's artificial intelligence chatbot. Let's see if I got any other comments here. Lots of mixed feelings on AI. I hear you about that. Yeah, don't like narration by AI. I agree. Yes, Shalu, I can give you that link for that next course. Awesome. Yeah, lots of mixed feelings on AI. All right, like I said, we're not going to get too much into it, but if you want to learn more, you're welcome to go to that Promptopia course. So here it is, artificial intelligence designed to really just help assist with tasks and answer questions. Best used with prompts. That's the whole point of the Promptopia course. Here's just some stats with ChatGPT, just familiarity with ChatGPT by gender. So a little bit more male than female. And then let's see, percentage generational wise, who has seen, read, or heard about ChatGPT. What made me laugh was the millennial being the highest to have learned a lot about it, because millennials are, it's my generation, we're very efficient, very task oriented. We like things that help us work harder and do better. So that wasn't surprising. And then most common tasks that employees use. So Ted will get into this with that course, but writing code, that's pretty cool. So these things here are kind of in tandem with what I just said about, helping with some of those more menial tasks. You can actually use this tool to help decrease the amount of time you're spending, with all of these time-consuming things like writing code, copywriting, things like that, task lists, all those things here. So that's kind of interesting. Yes, Mary, I'll post that link, don't worry. Let's see here. So I'm gonna get into it real quick. This is ChatGPT. So here's the web address here. So it's chat.openai.com. You can do lots of cool stuff, and it's really, it's AI. So it's designed to be more efficient the more it works with you. So the more tasks and content you create with it, the better it knows your voice and your brand. So all I did was I went in here. ChatGPT loves act as prompts. So I said act as an accountant. And then I said write an email to my clients emphasizing my quality of customer service. And this is just, it wrote this in seconds. Here's just a sample email you can use. And maybe you're looking at this and you're like, maybe you're talking about, I think Mary was like, I don't like the AI voice. So maybe you want to go in here and just make some tweaks so it doesn't sound robotic per se. But the thing is, like, you can use this as a framework to make an email to send out to clients. So you can use ChatGPT to create a whole email campaign flow for clients in just a few minutes, instead of sitting there for hours having to write this whole email and have to come up with all the subjects for your email. So this is just a really cool thing. I liked this a lot, and it's practical kind of with the email side of things. Hey, Mary, yeah, isn't that cool, Mary? You can just generate an email, there you go, and give it a quick once over. For me, it's funny because I have a copywriting background. I've been a copywriter for over a decade, so I was one of the ones that was afraid with ChatGPT because, like, that's my bread and butter. So with this, you have to look at it more of a tool and of a support. Like this, you can't edit a blank page. So when you have this, as an accounting professional, this can just offer those tools to you, so you don't have to just stare at a blank Word document like, I know I want to email my clients this month, but I don't have 3 hours to carve out to write a whole email. And there you go. Now you can just edit it, personalize it, and send it off. ChatGPT also integrates with Google Sheets and Docs. So I have it here on my personal one. So you see here, it's in extensions, it's GPT for Sheets and Docs. So I launched it here on the right side. And so you can do lots of things with this. You can write a custom prompt, which is what I did. Here's that same kind of email I asked it to write, and it just generated that in the doc. You can change the tone of anything, which is really cool. If you already have something you've written, you can just put it in here and have it just take a look at your grammar and spelling and make sure everything looks good. For me, it's hard to see your errors when you've been staring at something for a while. So it's nice to have a second set of eyes per se. And also it can translate, which is really cool. You can set behavior. So you can set the behavior of this integration in Docs to anything, financial advisor, there you go. Marketing expert, there you go. So it will write and generate content based on that persona you have set. And also if you click use selection or document as context, that's another example of using existing content. A lot of people have said to me, they don't want to, feel robotic. They want to use the stuff they've written still, and you can do that. You can write an outline and put it in here and then use that as context to tweak and modify. Same with Google Sheets. So this is integrated in Google Sheets as well. So here on the right-hand side, we have these functions here. And these are some of the formulas. You would just input these into the cells, and it would offer you whatever you're looking for. So you can make a table, map, you can edit something, summarize, translate, things like that. So I use these first two for an example. So the first one I just did basic GPT prompt. So this top one, cell A1, you see in the formula here, my prompt was, GPT, write tagline for accounting firm. And so this tagline it offered me was, count on us for accurate numbers and financial success. And you know what I could do was, if I don't like this, I could just say, write 10 more and see what other options I could have for a tagline. And then I went over here to list for the next one. Here's that formula for GPT list. And then in these rows 2 through 6, I said, give me 5 short accounting firm ads about my customer service. And here we go. You see, I'm not going to read all of these, but these are all available for me to use. These ads just generated right away. And I can, you know, if I'm spending some time scheduling some posts out, which we'll discuss in just a moment, you can just pull this, maybe tweak it a little bit, make it sound more like you, and just put that into a post, schedule, good to go. You can even use Canva, like Em was saying, and edit a graphic, put your image and your logo on it. Do that in 2 minutes, generate this in 30 seconds, schedule that post, you're good to go. So there's some really cool ways you can use ChatGPT for helping with content. And I really like it because it just gives equal opportunity. You know, if you are a smaller firm or if you're a one-person team, then you generally don't have the bandwidth to have a whole marketing department. And so you still can use this to compete with larger brands and firms because it's a tool to help be a resource. So you don't have to stretch yourself thin trying to compete with these high quality, you know, ads out there. So I would say use that as an encouragement. It can actually be used to help you and not harm. Building your brand. All right, so I can't remember who it was, but somebody said at the top they really wanted to build their brand. So here we go. This is kind of the fun side of things. You know, if you do enjoy the more abstract artistic side of things, here's your moment. Even if you don't, this is just some good bullet points to kind of keep in mind. You know, if you're looking at honing your brand, refining your brand, these are all just really important to keep in mind. Something I always say, and I'm going to skip down to this bottom point, be consistent. So a lot of branding has to do with just like consistent messaging, you know, like if you see like a red Target logo, obviously you're going to think of the store Target. You know, if you see a certain shade of green with a mermaid, you're probably going to think of Starbucks. So when you have that consistency with everything to do with your brand, from color scheme to font to imagery to tone of voice to persona, that collectively works to help people start to associate with your brand. So that's just really important, especially if you're looking at, you know, growing your company, gaining more clientele. Keep that in mind. Everything down to even like business cards and things like that. Just like keeping it consistent across the board is so valuable. So don't underestimate that. So if you haven't already, I always recommend with companies, with firms, I always say, if you haven't already, spend some time talking about these things, either with yourself or with your team if you have one. You know, deciding on a logo, your colors, visual identity. Like Em was showing with Canva, you can actually create something called a brand kit in Canva. And so with that, you can actually have font already preset, colors already preset. So everything is already in there. So once you decide what you want your brand to be, it will already offer that. So everything you're editing, you're going to be able to just click of a button, make it your brands already. So that's just really cool. Again, saves time. Brand messaging, and then having a voice for your company. That's important when it comes to interacting on social media and things like that. What kind of persona do you want to exemplify? And then develop a tagline. I always say the tagline is like that compass. It's steering your ship. So, you know, even if it's something like, you know, go back to here, I asked for a tagline for an accounting firm, you know, count on us for accurate numbers and financial success. So whatever you want to be like the main pinnacle of your brand, maybe it is integrity. You know, you can come to us and, you know, trust in our integrity. Maybe that's your whole brand. You want to emphasize that side of things. Maybe it's your customer service. maybe it's just this, accurate numbers, financial success. So really it's whatever you want it to be, but that tagline is that compass that is steering your ship for you. So I would say definitely take time to have that tagline and then put it in places like your website and things that you think will just catch people's eye. Be true to your brand, kind of in tandem with be consistent. If you have any questions or comments about the branding, let me know. Let's see
Hey,
here.
Faye, I'm wondering if this, you read my mind. I was just going to say if this would be a good time for a poll. I'm going to go ahead and launch poll number 2. I think we missed that one, and maybe we can do the third poll right after.
Let's do it.
All right.
Don't worry, guys, we got you.
Got that second poll up on screen, and as mentioned, we'll go ahead and launch the third poll right after this one. So keep your hand right above your mouse. Be ready. Got about 30 seconds remaining on poll number 2. I'm looking at these results. The leaders here are kind of interesting. I'll be sharing those results in just a moment. All right, just about 10 seconds remaining. And seeing that the largest proportion of our audience are either doing it themselves, DIY, or they have nobody handling their marketing and content creation. I'll go ahead and shut down poll number 2 now and jump right into our third poll. There is one more poll in our time remaining, but let us know in this third poll who has created your website or manages your website.
Thanks, Jasmine. Yeah, and as you're answering, these 2 polls are kind of related. The first one that we just did, that's interesting to me, and that's kind of why you're here. That's usually what we get. The majority of people either handle all their content themselves or nobody does it, likely because you don't have the time or capacity. So that's why we really try and offer these kind of resources for you to empower you so you feel like you can spend that time. So if you're wanting to scale your firm, you can spend your time and set aside time to build your brand on your own. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a marketing firm if you don't have that budget as a small business. Let's see, looking at these website results as they're coming in. Yeah, the last training Em and I did, over 50% didn't have a website. So actually, I'm going to spend the remainder of our time just talking about the importance of having a website. So it looks like I see about 32% don't have a website. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, 32%. If you saw those results real quick. Another quarter of you, third-party specialists, manages your website. Awesome. And then 26% you manage it yourself. Okay, great. Well, you're all in good company here. Website creation. All right, so a lot of these slides, I have a whole training. It's called Marketing 101. I really delve into the SEO side of things, and that really has to do with plugging your website appropriately into the internet so it comes up as a higher result with search results. So I have a whole 25-minute spiel that I could talk about forever, but we're not going to get too much into it. But those slides are available in this deck. So if you still want to refer back to this for just some website tips, you're welcome to just use the slide deck as a reference. But the thing is, kind of in tandem with building your brand, having a website, especially nowadays, is so imperative if you want to be a firm of the future. I know, a lot of accountants, maybe you have more of a brick and mortar kind of situation and you work locally through word of mouth and things like that. And I know that model works for a lot of people, but if you're looking at scaling and growing, your website serves as sort of that digital business card. I think 60 to 70% of people, if I remember the stat correctly, they're always searching via the internet first for a new business or service. So generally they're going to be looking there first, you know, so if they're looking for accountant near me, it's always going to be go to Google, see what that has to say first, see what comes up. Especially people who are less informed about that kind of industry, they're going to go to the internet right away because they don't really know where else to go. So that's just so imperative. If you don't have a website, I would say that's a pretty high priority. So, you know, if you are thinking about setting aside some time in the near future for marketing and content things, let your website be one of those priorities. Let's see, what was the brand, software, technology that you mentioned? We mentioned a few, Reagan, and all those softwares and technologies are listed in this deck. We mentioned Canva. I know we mentioned ChatGPT, obviously. There's a few other ones in the deck listed as well. Okay, so having a website, you know, it's so crucial because, you know, when people are searching for you, this website is going to be what tells first that search engine about you. And it's, you know, with the right SEO, SEO is search engine optimization, that is going to help plug you into the website, into the search engine. So they know your industry, they know what you do, and it proves that you're sort of a viable option. And so that will rank you higher in search results, if that makes sense. I kind of liken SEO to sort of like a breadboard circuit situation of the digital space. So SEO is that act of plugging all of those wires into the right place. And when they're all plugged into the right place, it works, right? It works, it flows, efficiency, all that energy moves. So same with SEO, if you're plugging things into the internet properly, it ensures optimal visibility. So go back to this first slide. So content is a great place, a great reason to have a website. So, you know, your website obviously houses important things about your brands, maybe your about me section. I always say that's important. You know, I love brands, and people love brands that are personable. So if you have a website or are planning on building a website, don't be afraid to add an about me section. So share something personal. You never know who you might connect with because of a mutual interest. It's also a place to share maybe your packages, your specializations, your credentials, your offerings. Like I said, that digital business card. And then of course, it's a great place to have blogs. So if you want to boost your visibility on the internet, you know, SEO has to do with a lot of things, but the most important thing to remember with SEO in regards to your website is just being very specific with the content you are putting on your site. So really it operates with keywords. So whatever your industry is, whatever your specialization is, you know, if it's taxes, nonprofit, things like that, you're going to want to make sure you include a lot of those terms throughout your site, because that informs the search engine who you are. And so then when people are searching, you know, nonprofit financial assistance near me, the search engine will then be like, oh, this website has a lot of those matches. And so it's really as simple as that. And also blogs are just really good to have if you want to establish yourself as a thought leader. And if you want to use those blogs also as social posts, that's all very valuable. And also, you know, again, ChatGPT, you can write in here, write me a blog from an accountant's perspective on 5 ways to prepare for tax season, something like that, you know, whatever industry you're in that you think would be a relevant subject matter, you can write it and it will just generate that blog for you. And then of course you can go in and edit it and make sure it sounds like human and it's from you, but that just gives you that blog right away. So you can just spend a few minutes making those edits and then go ahead and put that on your website versus spending hours writing a blog. So that's another little plug, another good idea. So again, why SEO? You can also sub in website. Why having a website is crucial for accounting professionals. You can grow your accounting firm, attract new clients with a website. Really, it's imperative to be a firm of the future. Like I said, everything is going digital, so it's so important to have that digital presence. Obviously, there's competition. And then I like this best too. It gives small accountant opportunity to compete in a global market. So kind of like what I mentioned a second ago with how these tools help you compete against larger brands, you know, because you don't have the capacity to dump hours and thousands of dollars into the marketing side. This also gives you equal opportunity. SEO is really nice. Having a website is really nice because, you know, search engines don't discriminate. And so if you're taking the time to make sure your website is up to date and plugged well into the internet, it gives you equal opportunity to be a higher result on the internet. So I'll wrap. I'm not going to skip over these, but these are all just good little tips on what your website is made of, little tweaks on how to, you know, adjust the SEO so you can improve your visibility. Here's that final example here. So again, this is an example of search results. Like I said, I'm in Denver. So looking for accounting professionals near me, this came up right away with all these search boxes have Denver in them because I'm in Denver. So that's another example, you know, if you have a certain region that you serve or a certain city you're based out of, include those terms in your website, because then that tells the search engine, oh, this person, they're in Denver, so that might be relevant to the person searching. And then in tandem with that, I always tell everybody, even if you don't have time to make the most elaborate website, make a Google business profile. That's free to do. And if you keep your Google business profile up to date, that's just really, really good for your search results, because you can put in your geographic location, you can put in your phone number if you have it, your website, maybe your office hours, and that will just more highly generate with results if you have that profile up to date. So that would be the biggest tip I would give. And then just some other ones if you want to read these on your own time and use those as if you create your own website. I know about 30% of you might want to create your own website, or if you want to just tweak your website. And then here's some just top 5 fails. I'm not going to get too much into that, but these are all just good to refer back to. And of course, we have other trainings that are a little more geared towards that. Practical application. So we're going to wrap up here. I know we're kind of towards the end of our time, so I appreciate your time. We're so thankful that you took the hour to spend with us. Just kind of talking about, you know, time management. I know a lot of you say, I manage my content, I manage my website, and I'm sure you don't have 20 hours a week to just spend, you know, creating graphics and things like that. So these are some ideas to really help create bite-sized goals for starting to build out your brands and generate consistent content for your firm. It doesn't have to be something super elaborate and crazy. And with these tools that we just showed you, you can do a lot. And even just a 15-30-minute block, if you set that aside at the beginning or end of your day, you can get a lot of things done with these tools. So it kind of takes some of that busy work off of your table, and you can still generate some really cool content that will just help your brands seem relevant and boost your visibility to clients or potential clients. And then I'll wrap up here. Just content batching is another idea. If you want to set time aside to mass create content, you can just kind of generate a few graphics at once. You can generate a few blogs at once, a few posts at once, and then just schedule those out in advance. Here's the schedule that I use. This is called Social Pilot. So you can use a scheduler to just schedule social posts out in advance for as long as you like. And so then you can just sit back for the next month or two after they're scheduled and just be happy that you have posts going up. You don't have to worry about getting them up every other day or every week. And then again, here's this resource in your deck, just some ideas. These are some good schedulers that I've worked with that I think are really good. A lot of them are low or no cost as well. And the final page of resources, just some good ideas here. All right, I think we're wrapping up our time here, so I'm going to pass it back to Jasmine just to bring us home. If you have any other final questions or comments, we're going to spend some time with Q&A if you want to stay on, but otherwise I'm going to pass it to Jasmine to wrap up.
Awesome. Well, I went ahead and launched our 4th poll. This is the 4th and final poll of the day. So if you missed one today for any reason, be sure to cast your vote here. And now And we're going to leave this open for another 40 seconds or so. Let us know if you're interested in learning more about Accounting Suite. I see that we've got a lot of our responses in already. We may be able to close this one down a little early. And if you like, Faye or Emily, I can just shut this poll down in the background if you want to leave any final remarks before I end the webinar.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Jasmine. Let me go ahead and drop this Promptopia link for that upcoming training on ChatGPT in our chat. Here we go. If you wanted to use that to sign up for more CPE for next week. Otherwise, if you want to hang out for a minute or two, we can answer any specific questions. Otherwise, we appreciate your time today. I'll pass it to Em if you have any final remarks or goodbyes you want to say, but we're thankful for your time today, guys.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. Have a great one.
All right, well, just gonna pop back on here just to remind our audience, we really appreciate you all being in attendance today and for being here to participate in today's event. Now we're gonna go ahead and shut down today's webinar. I just wanted to remind you all that your CPE credit will be uploaded to your cpaacademy.org account just a little bit later today. You'll also have access to the archive recording and the handouts, all of the course materials that we've provided on today's session. We did also send you a link to the course evaluation, and that is in your email inbox right now. Please take the time to fill that out and let us know how we did today. Thanks again for attending, and we are hoping to see you all very soon. Webinar. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.